Howdy! In this mini lecture, we will examine the many different terrestrial biomes of the world. The student learning objectives of this video are: define the term biome, identify the factors which most influence biomes, identify terrestrial biomes of the world by their key characteristics and how humans impact each, and interpret a climate diagram. The Earth is home to a wide variety of ecosystems, which when viewed at a large scale can be classified as biomes. A biome is a major regional complex of similar communities. Another way to classify biomes is to say that they are large-scale ecological units recognized primarily by the dominant plant type and vegetation structure. Biomes cover a large geographic area. The terrestrial biomes we'll discuss here and which you'll read about in your textbook are the temperate deciduous forest, the temperate grassland, the temperate rainforest, the tropical dry forest, the savanna, the desert, the tundra, the boreal forest, which is also known as the northern coniferous forest or the taiga, and finally the chaparral. Before we examine each of these biomes, a lesson in geographical zones of the Earth would be worthwhile. The most basic geographical zones of the Earth are the frigid zones, also known as the polar zones, the temperate zones, and the tropic or torrid zone. The North Frigid Zone occurs between the Arctic Circle at 66.5 degrees north latitude and the North Pole at 90 degrees north latitude. The South Frigid Zone occurs from the Antarctic Circle at 66.5 degrees south latitude and the South Pole at 90 degrees south latitude. The North Temperate Zone extends from the Tropic of Cancer, which is at approximately 23.5 degrees north latitude, to the Arctic Circle. The Southern Temperate Zone occurs at the same latitude degrees, but in the southern hemisphere, extending from the Tropic of Capricorn at approximately 23.5 degrees south latitude to the Antarctic Circle. The tropics are a region of the Earth that lie between the latitudes of the Tropic of Cancer and the Tropic of Capricorn. Each biome encompasses a variety of communities that share similarities. For example, the boreal forest is found across much of Canada, Alaska, Russia, and Scandinavia in the northern portion of the North Temperate Zone. Notice that the boreal forest is one of the most northern biomes, and it is seen in more than one country or continent. Similarly, notice that one biome often spans across latitudes of the globe. See how the tundra is found in the northernmost latitudes. The boreal forest is found just south of the tundra. The temperate grasslands are found in the U.S. as well as parts of the Middle East, Asia, and Russia and South America and Australia in the temperate latitudes. The pattern of biome distribution across the globe exists because the two greatest factors that influence biomes the most are temperature and precipitation. For this reason, biomes are largely a function of climate. Climate is determined by position on the globe, so it makes sense why we see bands of biomes across latitudes. The figure in this slide illustrates the relationship between temperature and precipitation and each biome. The bottom left corner of the figure represents hot and dry areas, so the landscape of desert is shown. Notice that tundra is in line with the desert in terms of the amount of precipitation it receives. However, the tundra is much colder than the desert. A tropical rainforest is illustrated in the bottom right-hand corner of the figure because this is where the highest precipitation and the highest temperatures meet on the figure. Notice how all of the other biomes are also represented in various places on the figure, each situated according to the amount of moisture the biome receives and the average temperature of the biome. Scientists use climate diagrams or climatographs to display seasonal changes in temperature and precipitation of a biome or other geographic area. This slide features a climate diagram for a temperate grassland found in Ukraine. Notice that there are three labeled axes. FYI, axes is the plural of axis. The right y-axis displays mean monthly precipitation measured in millimeters and corresponds with the blue line. The left y-axis displays mean monthly temperature measured in degrees Celsius and corresponds with the red line. The x-axis runs along the bottom of the graph and displays the time of year delineated by month. Relatively moist conditions are present when the blue line is above the red line and the area is shaded green. Relatively dry conditions exist when the blue line is below the red line and the area is shaded yellow. Keep these details about climatographs in mind as you read about each biome and examine its corresponding climate diagram. Practice interpreting the climate diagrams as you read through the biome section of the textbook and watch the remainder of this video. We will now briefly review each biome. Temperate deciduous forests are found at mid-latitudes throughout eastern North America, including around the Great Lakes region. You'll also find this biome in Europe and eastern China. This forest type is characterized by broad-leaved deciduous trees, which are trees that lose their leaves each fall and remain dormant during the winter. Precipitation in this biome is relatively even throughout the year, but temperatures vary with seasons. Oak, beeches, and maple trees are the most common tree type. Much of this forest type in the U.S. has been removed and replaced with agricultural, residential, or commercial developments. To help you picture in your mind what each biome looks like and give you some reference, I'll provide a TV, movie, or other entertainment reference for each biome. Because we see temperate deciduous forest in the east and northeast of the U.S., when you think of a temperate deciduous forest, you might picture movies like The Patriot, The Crucible, Pocahontas, and books like The Scarlet Letter and The Last of the Mohicans. Also in the temperate or mid-latitude zone are temperate grasslands. If you were at the Great Lakes region in the U.S. and traveled west, you would get to the temperate grasslands. You can find this biome in the Great Plains region of the U.S. west of the Mississippi River, as well as in much of South America and Central Asia. Temperate grasslands experience stronger seasonal temperature variations than temperate deciduous forests and have less rainfall. In this biome, there is not enough precipitation for trees to grow. Also known as a steppe or prairie, temperate grasslands were once widespread across much of North and South America and Central Asia. However, this biome has largely been destroyed and replaced with farms and ranches. Can you think of a movie reference for this biome? How about Dances with Wolves and Little House on the Prairie? Continuing west in the U.S. will bring us to the temperate rainforest. The coastal region of the Pacific Northwest of the U.S., think Seattle and Portland, receives heavy rainfall and is dominated by coniferous trees such as cedars, spruces, hemlocks, and Douglas fir. This biome is very wet and has mossy interiors. Soils in the temperate rainforest are very fertile, but are also susceptible to landslides and erosion when the forests are cleared. This biome is impacted by humans through logging and extraction of other commercially valuable products found in the forest. Timber harvesting has eliminated the old growth trees, which threatens many species with extinction. How about a movie reference for this biome? If you were thinking Twilight or First Blood, you're not alone. That's what the majority of my students say when asked about a movie reference for this biome. We see the same pattern of biome distribution in the temperate regions as is seen in the tropical regions. Areas with high rainfall grow rainforests. Areas with intermediate rainfall support dry or deciduous forests, and areas with low rainfall support grasslands. The difference between tropical and temperate biomes is that tropical biomes are closer to the equator and thus warmer on average year-round. For this reason, tropical biomes contain a great deal more biodiversity than is seen in the temperate latitudes. Tropical rainforests are found in Central America, South America, Southeast Asia, West Africa, and other tropical regions. This biome has relatively high rainfall year-round and uniformly warm temperatures. Tropical rainforests are the biome with the absolute most biodiversity of any terrestrial biome. Despite the rich biodiversity in the tropical rainforest, the soils of tropical rainforests are acidic and low in organic matter, with most of the nutrients being tied up in the vegetation. Now consider that this biome is cut down through slash and burn and deforestation to make way for farmland and palm oil plantations. Given that the soil is so poor, the farms fail within a few seasons and farmers move on and clear new areas of forests, resulting in a vicious cycle of deforestation. The Amazon forest is one of the most well-known tropical rainforests. There are so many trees that support life through photosynthesis in this forest that it has been called the lungs of the world. Can you think of a movie reference for the tropical rainforest? The one I have in mind is Fern Gully, The Last Rainforest. I'm a bit partial to this movie because it is one of the inspirations of my childhood that led to my career in environmental science. Tropical dry forests are found in tropical areas that have lower and seasonal rainfall. This gives rise to a distinct wet and dry season, each of which is about 6 months long, as can be seen in the climate diagram. Tropical dry forests are also called tropical deciduous forests, and like their counterparts in temperate latitudes, they receive less rainfall than rainforests. Tropical dry forests are found in northern Australia, central India, southeastern Africa, and South America, specifically southern Mexico, eastern Bolivia, central Brazil, the northern Andes, and the coasts of Peru and Ecuador. Like the tropical rainforest, much of this biome has been deforested and replaced with farms. This one is a little tricky to think of a movie or TV reference. Possible options would be The Emperor's New Groove, Rescuers Down Under, and Jungle Book. Savannas are found in stretches of Africa, South America, Australia, India, and other dry tropical regions. This biome is dominated by grasslands, but also has clusters of acacias and other trees. There is a distinct wet and dry season in this biome. During the dry season, grazing animals congregate near the widely spaced watering holes. You'll find animals like zebras, gazelles, giraffes, and lions in this biome. Humans impact the savanna by continually encroaching on the biome, building and expanding human settlements in the area. This fragments and shrinks the habitat for the endemic species, which threatens their survival. Also, keep in mind that as we push into the habitats of animals, some of those animals will venture into human settlements. This is a no-win situation for the humans and animals alike. Poaching is also a problem in this biome, slowing human population growth, ending the sale of products from trophy species, and implementing regional and city planning and urban growth boundaries can help with these problems. I bet you can think of a movie for this one. How about Lion King? Deserts are the driest biome on Earth, with most deserts receiving less than 10 inches of precipitation a year. The precipitation deserts do receive usually comes in isolated storms months or even years apart. But not all deserts are comprised of the bare, dry sand dunes seen in the African Sahara or Namib deserts. Other deserts like the Sonora Desert in Arizona and northwest Mexico receive enough rainfall to support some vegetation. Also, don't assume that the desert is hot 24/7. Deserts have a very low humidity and little vegetation, so the heat of the day escapes through the atmosphere at night, making some deserts downright frigid at night. Temperatures in the desert can vary dramatically from daytime and nighttime and from season to season. Humans are impacting this biome through deforestation and poor farming practices, which leads to expansion of deserts through desertification. What do you think about a movie reference for this one? Some ideas I have are Sahara, The Mummy, Aladdin, and Hidalgo. FYI, I won't watch Hidalgo because I don't want to know if the horse dies. Another very dry biome is the tundra. However, unlike deserts, tundra is found at high latitudes near the poles in places like northern Alaska, Russia, Canada, Greenland, Iceland, and Scandinavia. Tundra is also found in sub-Antarctic islands. The winters here are very cold and have little sunlight, and the summers are very long, all of which is due to the fact that they are so far north on the globe. The landscape of a tundra is marked by lichens and low, scrubby vegetation. Like a desert and a grassland, there is not enough precipitation in this biome for trees to grow. Due to the extreme cold of this biome, the underground soil generally remains permanently frozen. This is called permafrost. Relatively few animals are adapted to survive in this landscape, but you will see caribou, polar bears, and musk oxen here. Although humans aren't expanding in this biome with their homes and other developments, we are significantly impacting this biome through pollution and climate change. Atmospheric circulation patterns cause airborne pollutants to concentrate at the poles and high latitudes, and climate change is impacting high latitude areas more intensely than tropical and temperate latitudes. Climate change is causing sea ice to melt, changing seasonal cycles that animals are adapted to, and melting permafrost. Additionally, oil and gas developments in the tundra are also causing significant impact to the biome and the animals that call it home. How about a movie, TV, or literary reference for this biome? Here are some ideas. Into the Wild, Happy Feet, March of the Penguins, Ice Age, and Polar Express. The boreal forest, also known as the northern coniferous forest or the taiga, is found across Canada, Alaska, Russia, and Scandinavia. Evergreen species such as spruce, fir, and pine dominate this biome, but you also find bogs and lakes scattered within the forest. This biome develops in cool and dry regions and has long cold winters and short cool summers. Mammals found in this biome include moose, wolves, bears, lynx, and rodents. Like most forests, humans impact this biome through logging and deforestation. Can you think of a movie, TV, or book reference for this biome? How about White Fang and From Russia with Love? The final terrestrial biome is the chaparral. The chaparral is not a widespread biome by any means, and it is limited to small patches around the globe. This biome is found on the coasts of the Mediterranean Sea, the coast of California, Chile, and southern Australia. The vegetation in this biome consists of dense thickets of evergreen shrubs. This biome is highly seasonal, with mild, wet winters and warm, dry summers. This climate is induced by oceanic influences and is often classified as Mediterranean. Chaparrals experience frequent fires, and the plant community is adapted to be fire resistant or even to depend on fire for seed germination. Humans affect this biome through settlement and land development. Can you think of some movie or book references for this biome? How about the Iliad and the Count of Monte Cristo? Now for some review questions. Study the climatograph in this slide. Can you identify what type of biome is depicted by this climatograph? If you said A, tropical rainforest, ding, 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 you're correct. Notice that there is consistent heavy rainfall and high mean monthly temperature. You could have eliminated all the other options if you remembered that the tropical dry forest has a distinct wet and dry season, and that the temperate grassland has seasonal temperature variations and some variance in precipitation throughout the year, and the desert obviously has low rainfall year-round. Let's try one more. Name the biome that is found in the Great Plains region of the U.S., as well as South America and Central Asia, and is characterized by strong seasonal temperature variations and limited rainfall. This biome has largely been replaced by farms and ranches. If you said B, temperate grasslands, you're correct. The clue of limited rainfall should have helped you eliminate all options that included a forest. The clue of Great Plains should have helped you recognize this biome is the temperate grassland. That concludes this mini lecture on biomes. Please see eCampus for additional details regarding the assignments required for this week. Thanks and gig 'em!